It is hard. It is a phenomenon we've never seen before.
Right.
That one person would dominate
Every
just the
conversation,
national
every dinner,
for over a decade.
Yeah.
You know, but and I do think you have to fight that. Like I say, if that's your whole personality, is the first thing out of your mouth is, "What are we going to do about Donald Trump?" I just can't.
Meanwhile,
we've watched 10 years of this obsession. It's been a decade of a whole political movement getting swallowed up by the shadow of just one man. Think about that. Even their most ride-or-die allies are finally starting to scream that the building is on fire. This isn't just a bump in the road anymore. That reckoning everyone's been talking about, it's finally through the front door. For decades, Bill Maher has been a heavy hitter in the liberal media world. He's the guy who basically built his entire brand on poking the bear, mocking traditional values, and taking swings at conservatives. But lately, something shifted. The veteran satirist showed up in a place most of his friends would call enemy territory, the studios of Fox News. This wasn't just some regular book tour or a quick stop to grab headlines. It was a moment of pure, raw realization. Maher sat there in front of the cameras, looking dead serious and sounding completely measured, to drop a message that's currently ripping through the American political scene. He didn't show up to give his own side a trophy. He came to warn them that they've suffered a massive internal breakdown that's eaten their entire identity. It's wild, isn't it? The hunter has officially become the hunted. They're trapped in a loop they built themselves, totally unable to stop staring at the very man they say they can't stand. Cast your mind back to 2015. That one trip down a golden escalator changed the entire trajectory of this country. But right then, the opposition made a choice that's haunted them ever since. Instead of actually arguing policy or putting up a better plan for your family's future, they took the bait. They chose a path of total, nonstop war centered on one single human being. For 10 long years, every single news story, every piece of legislation, and every cheesy campaign slogan has been run through the filter of Donald Trump. Maher's take on this is brutal and cold. He's arguing that this deep-seated mania has actually replaced the personalities of an entire political class. They've spent 10 years being conditioned to bark every time he posts. They react to every rally, every joke, and every gesture like it's the end of the world. It's a fixation that's left their own cupboard completely bare. Now you've got a major political party with zero message other than their own bitterness, and no future other than more of the same. What happens to a movement when it only knows what it hates? Bill Maher says the result is nothing but a hollow shell. In his latest breakdown, he pointed out a massive ethical failure in the whole democratic process. They've completely trashed their own platform. By spending every waking second trying to take out their opponent, the Democratic elites flat out forgot how to talk to you about your own life. Their identity has been totally eaten up. They aren't the party of the working man anymore, and they aren't the party of progress. They've just become the party of not Trump. This total failure to actually lead or come up with a new idea has created a massive vacuum. You could feel Maher's frustration as he explained how this obsession has wrecked their ability to actually run a government. When the only real goal is to keep the fight going, the actual needs of the people get tossed out the window. They're too busy chasing the next viral clip to care about the status quo. Look, this didn't just happen by accident. It was grown, fed, and cashed out by a media machine that realized panic is a goldmine. From the late-night comedy sets to the cable news desks, they've been hammering this narrative every single day. Maher knows this world better than almost anyone. He's seen firsthand how this constant outrage keeps the ratings high, even while it rots the country from the inside out. You've been led through a decade of conditioning, taught to wake up and expect a brand new crisis every hour. It's a feedback loop where the truth is a distant second to the drama of the fight. The fact that Maher is willing to call this out tells you how exhausted people are getting, even the ones who are leading the charge. This constant state of red alert has turned our public conversation into a tragedy. Nuance is dead, and only the loudest, angriest voices get a microphone. The big question is, can we actually break the cycle, or is the damage to our national soul just too deep to fix? Maher's trip to Fox News is just a symptom of a much bigger problem. Inside the ranks of the left, a massive divide is opening up. On one side, you've got the diehards who think destroying their rival is the only thing that matters. On the other, you've got people like Maher who can see that this path is a total dead end. This internal war is finally breaking out into the light. The people who want to fix the strategy are trying to kill off this ideology of obsession before it finishes off the party for good. They see what the elites don't, the pure frustration of the American voter. You care about the price of gas and whether your neighborhood is safe, not the latest political gossip. This obsession has created a blind spot the size of the heartland. As Maher gets animated on screen, he's speaking for a massive group of voters who are just done. They're tired of the theater. They're tired of the rage. They're desperate to see someone actually get back to the business of governing. If you look at this from a traditional perspective, this decade of obsession isn't just a political oopsie. It's a total loss of the American spirit of debate. Our institutions were literally built for competing visions, but when one side walks away from the job just to spend 10 years striking at one man, the whole house starts to shake. This massive failure to actually engage with conservative ideas on their own merits has left us with a fractured republic. We're living with the results of a decade of conditioning that tells us half the country is an enemy to be crushed, rather than a neighbor to be understood. Maher's critique, even though he's a man of the left, sounds exactly like what patriots have been worried about for years. They see a country that's lost its way, staring at a bright, shiny object while the foundations of our families and our communities are being ground down. Getting back to stability means ending the obsession and getting back to the things that actually matter. As we look at what's coming next, Bill Maher's words are a heavy reminder. You can't sustain a movement on nothing but hate. It just doesn't work. A party that has no vision other than stop him is a party that's circling the drain. You deserve something better than a 10-year-long TV drama. You deserve leaders who actually want to solve problems instead of just winning an argument on social media. Maybe this total opposition served a purpose for a minute, but that time is long gone. The era of obsession has to end, or the tragedy of our divided country is only going to get worse. Whether the people in charge will actually listen to Maher's warning is anyone's guess. But one thing is for sure, you can only ignore the truth for so long before reality hits you in the face. The investigation is still going, but the evidence is already in. The obsession has turned into the very thing it was supposed to destroy.